JP, if Kirk leaves, do the Redskins draft a quarterback in the first round in 2018? And if they do, who would be your best guess as to who that is? A guy like Josh Allen, do you think he lasted the 13th pick? Who would it be?
Cakes, I think even if Kirk stays, they need to draft a quarterback in the first round. If Kirk stays on a one-year deal, at some point you have to plan for the future. And I think the time is now, because if you're not able to get a long-term deal done between now and the draft, or really between now and when you have to tag him, just at some point to be honest with themselves at Red, he's not going to sign. And if they reach that conclusion, maybe you can get Josh Allen at 13, or they like the kid from Oklahoma State. Maybe you can get him. Or you know how it goes. As we get closer to draft day, there's going to be quarterbacks that jump up. This time last year, nobody was talking about Patrick Mahomes as a top 10, top 15 guy. There are going to be guys that jump up throughout the combine and draft process, and I think the Redskins have done so little to kind of address what looks like will be a hole at quarterback. At some point they have to, and if there's a guy they like at 13, you got to make that move. I've talked to some folks in their front office. I know they like Josh Allen. Big kid, great arm, a little bit of mobility. I don't know if he'll last till 13. So my point more with the Browns is people want to laugh and scoff at the Browns as a possibility for Kirk. But the truth of the matter is, if you listen to Kirk when you talk to Grant and Danny, or you listen to Kirk throughout this process, he's a very deliberate and very strategic person. There is zero chance he would dismiss an offer from the Browns because of how awful they've been the last 2 years. Because it can do two things. One, maybe he likes the Browns. They have the first and the fourth overall pick in the upcoming draft. So if they address quarterback, maybe they can take, the kid from NC State, Chubb, and then have two studs on their D-line with Myles Garrett and Chubb, and then maybe they add Saquon Barkley, and then you have Kirk Cousins, and all of a sudden, hey, maybe we should win 5 or 6 games. But beyond that, having a Browns offer, or even just having the Browns interested, drives up the entire market, because the Browns have so much money. They're so desperate at quarterback. So if Kirk is negotiating with a few different teams, say Arizona knows they have to up their offer because the Browns are in the picture. Even the Redskins would have to up their offer because the Browns are in the picture.
Makes all the sense in the world. I mean, he's a smart guy. He's calculated. He would never just discount a certain team. He knows what it means to have another team interested. Absolutely.
What do you think the chances are, JP, that they just decide to cut their losses now and let him just negotiate and take the third-round compensatory pick?
I go back to the statement from last year, and it was in hindsight, it did kind of alert the fans that Kirk would not negotiate with the team, and what it really did was kind of put the Kirk Jay Gruden situation towards the forefront once Kirk said he was waiting to see what the offense looked like, even though it was Jay's offense. That was one of the more curious things I found from the event with Grant and Danny was Kirk's hesitancy to roll with Jay Gruden's offense, even though he'd been playing in Jay Gruden's offense for a few years. I know McVay was calling the plays, but it's not like it had changed dramatically. But they haven't cut their losses yet. I won't rule out a franchise tag just because the whole process has been so bizarre, and the team might not want to risk losing him. Although I haven't gotten to ask Kirk this. I'd be very curious. He was asked about the transition tag, and he said he would go and make visits and do his due diligence and research the market. I don't know that he would sign elsewhere on the transition tag because I don't know that he wants to let the Redskins match another contract.
You think, and why is that? Because deep down, he just doesn't trust Bruce and Dan, and just at the end of the day, no matter what he says, you believe he wants to get out of here?
Deep down, I believe he wants total free agency, and that would allow him to pick his spot. I think.
So you don't think there's a number that could get him off that? See, I always think people can be bought.
So I agree. I think on some – it's similar to the Browns. If the Browns offer you 3 years at $30 million guaranteed on a 5-year deal, are you really going to turn down the Browns because they've won one game in the last 2 years? No. Like there's a price. I think if the Skins went to a 3-year fully guaranteed deal on a 4-year deal, I think he'd be interested. But I think there, and Kirk is so savvy and so political and doesn't really give you much. But I think if you read enough between the lines, it's fairly easy to see that his goal is free agency. That much I'm confident in, and it looks like he wants to move on.
What does the agent give you when you guys call the agent? Does he give you anything?
Not a lot with me personally. We've talked briefly, and they play just. You can see where Kirk is from with everything he does. It's very smart. It's very. What I can tell you is the folks at Redskins Park have been very frustrated by the agent, and if you look, the fact that they wouldn't negotiate in 2015 late in the year when the Skins put forth at that point a reasonable contract extension, and then last year when Kirk and his agent wouldn't negotiate, at some point if you're the Redskins, you're going to grow frustrated by that.